it's Wendi. I wanted to answer a question that's a fairly simple one. Well, I don't think I could be hypnotized. And it's interesting that most people feel that they're not hypnotizable. So even if I give you some suggestibility tests or I help you to experience how your brain sends messages to your body and creates different effects, a person still has a basic belief that they can't be hypnotized. When I was first doing hypnotherapy school, I was kind of concerned because the teacher would say, okay, you're going to close your eyes, you're going to visualize an apple. And then we'd close our eyes and I'd think, well, everybody else is obviously just really good at this. And I couldn't visualize an apple. I wanted to see that red apple. I'd close my eyes and I'd think about an apple and I saw nothing. And then another assignment was to visualize a pencil. And we'd have to imagine this pencil and then take this pencil and move it around. So right now, do that for yourself. Go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to imagine that you are visualizing a pencil. Now for some of you, you're not seeing anything. You're going there's nothing there. But visualizing in hypnosis is not always what you think it is. So now, go ahead and open your eyes. Think about this. What color was the pencil? See, you probably had a color. Which way was the pointy end going? Was it going that way or up or down? Did the pencil have an eraser? Or was it a mechanical pencil? So in reality, you are visualizing, but you're kind of getting in your own way by deciding that, oh, I'm not going to be able to visualize it. I'm not seeing it. So it's more a case of imagining it. Now, the other part about thinking that you're not hypnotizable, that belief stops you from ever experiencing any of the hypnotic phenomenon that is going to help you to have greater powers, have superpowers, and be able to do things with your body that you didn't know were possible. Some of the examples of absolute miracles that have happened with hypnosis tell us that there is something different about that state of mind. A friend of mine is a neurosurgeon, and he had a patient in the hospital who he was going to do brain surgery on the next day because the man was blind and they wanted to try and restore his sight. And Dr. Bob, instead of doing the surgery, the night before, he told the man a story about waking up to the sunrise. And Bob really loves hypnosis and understands why it affects the brain in the way it does. But he told the story with the intention of bringing the man's sight back, and lo and behold, in the morning, the man went to the window and opened his eyes, and there was the sun rising, and he had his sight back without surgery. Pretty cool. So there's little miracles that you can create in your life, even if you don't believe that you have the power to do it. So again, go ahead and let go of that belief that, well, I'm not hypnotizable. Go ahead and decide that your brain, just like everyone else's, needs a little bit of training, needs direction, and you need the right words and phrases to create the effect you want. I had a ring that for some reason it got stuck on my finger a few years ago. My finger got so swollen, and for a week I couldn't get this ring to budge. I tried, ice and butter and soap and did everything I could to try and get this ring off. And I knew my finger was looking pretty bad, so I needed to get the ring cut off. So I made an appointment to go to a jeweler to get the ring cut off for later that afternoon. I decided that I would try some hypnosis to see if I could get my finger to, reduce the swelling to get the ring off. Part of me did not believe that this was possible. How I did this, and you can do this as well, for anything in your body that you want to change, I went inside of my brain, I closed my eyes, I imagined what was happening in my brain, that there's all these controls and powers and connections and electrical activity, and I just imagined that for a while. Then I follow the path from inside of my head down through the back of my neck, down into my arm, and I'm traveling inside of my arm and all the way into my finger on the inside. So now I'm envisioning and imagining what it's like inside my finger. And I'm drawing the fluids away. I'm reducing the swelling. I'm having the tissues go back to normal. I'm painting it with a cool blue gel inside. And I'm just imagining that finger shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And then also I imagined that I pulled the ring off of my finger later that day. So then I opened my eyes. This whole thing took less than 5 minutes. I opened my eyes and I just said to myself that later today, the ring's going to come off easily, which to my conscious mind was an impossibility. After tugging on that thing for a week, there is no way that's going to come off, okay? But I did the process anyway. So I was actually driving to the jeweler, and I was stopped at a red light. And at the red light, I unconsciously just put my hands there, and I pulled the ring off just that easily. It was amazing. So other things that you can create that are miraculous, defy logic, that don't need your belief. They do need you to do a process to allow it to happen. One of my customers who got the program called Skin Deep, which is to correct skin conditions that you're having problems with. He had something that a rash or something on his face, a condition that was very unsightly, and he'd had it for, I think he said 4 years. And everything they'd tried, doctors, medications, ointments, whatever, nothing had changed it. I think it was 3 or 4 days after he started using the program, it just disappeared. It was gone in 4 days. Totally defies logic. That's something that could happen that quickly. And it was funny because he sent an email and he said, "Boy, you're going to get me in trouble. I think you're going to get me fired from my job because every 10 minutes I have to go to the bathroom and I have to look in the mirror and look at my face because I can't believe that it's gone." He says, "So my boss keeps wondering where the hell I am. I'm in the bathroom staring at my face." So many miracles. A man who had phantom limb pain, his foot had been amputated because of diabetes, because he had an infection in his foot. And what we did, he'd been to pain clinics, he took morphine, he drank a fifth of rum every night just so he could pass out because he couldn't sleep with the pain. So on the phone, we did our sessions, and I had him go down inside of his body in that same way, go all the way down till he was inside of his foot, look at it from the inside and describe it to me. And it was still infected, and it was still, really just, a mess. And I had him go on the outside of the foot and tell me what was there, and he said it's still oozing, and it's still, like, raw, and ugh. So I had him imagine healing it. Go ahead and, start healing up the tissue, heal up the skin, go inside and make the tendons, the nerves, the muscles, everything all shiny and new and healed. Now, take that information all the way back up through your body to your brain, and tell your brain that it's healed, and give your brain that image of the foot being completely healed. Now from the brain, take that image, or that message, right back down to the foot once again. Make sure it's completely healed and everything's fine. Bring it all the way back up to the brain. And then what happened was his phantom pain was gone. 30% of people with phantom pain commit suicide because it just won't stop. But the point is that it's just so amazing that we have these abilities to do this and make this happen by simply participating in a process that is given to you. And you don't have to be like a good hypnosis subject. You simply have to do the process. He called me a year later after we'd done our sessions, and he said, "I just wanted to tell you I haven't had any pain in a year. It's just gone." So the brain has the potential to do things that are as amazing as when you're giving birth, to cut off the pain signal that's involved in childbirth. And to any of you who have had a natural childbirth, you're like, "No way, that's too amazing." But they're doing it all over the world now with hypnobirths and telling the body that you'll feel pressure but not pain. It's amazing. I've been to a birth that I observed, and I was there with the woman the whole time, and there was just nothing, not even a flicker of a sensation, and 2 pushes and her baby was born. So what I'm wanting you to do is open your eyes to what's possible. Having a great memory, releasing a fear, some major fear or a phobia, using the tools that I give you, and just, what your brain is capable of and what you can do. And go ahead and have some superpowers of your own. So what would you like to do if you could with hypnosis? What would be the one thing that you would find most valuable? Perhaps it's changing something about your life, or changing the way you react or respond to something, or maybe it's giving yourself a superpower that you would love to have, like a photographic memory. Why not? Your brain can do it. Or you want to be a great musician. You look at autistic savants, that there's a part of their brain that is so energized that they can do amazing mathematical things, or they have the ability to compose music in a different way, or they have synesthesia. For instance, numbers might have sounds, or colors might have textures. Think about what it is that you would want to do, and don't just settle for ordinary. Do something fantastic with your superpowers. So let me know what it is that you want to do. Maybe we'll work on it. Yeah, let me know. Put your comments in right down there, and we'll get to work on that. Hey, thanks for being here, and thanks for opening your mind to finding out what's possible and how amazing you can be. Bye-bye.